And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to do things differently. I hope you are ready because the name of the book we're going to be talking about is Are You Ready? And the author is with us now, Jeffrey Hossler. Jeff, I know you personally, so it's really an honor to have you on the show and for you to talk about your journey and what led to the writing of this book. It's a small book, but it's a very powerful book. And I think if you get it, it's available on Amazon or wherever fine books used to be sold. We'll have a link in the show notes to this interview. But Jeff, so are you ready? What is it? Are you ready for what?
Good question, Kerry. Thanks for having me on. I'm not an author or book writer, or before I wasn't. I guess I am now. And the title of the book came to me. I call it channeling. We all have the ability to channel, and I was interested in this spiritual journey a couple years ago, and I ended up going to a plant medicine meeting, and through that, then the very next day, I was driving, or 2 days later, I was driving to my office, and all of a sudden, this voice kind of came through my head and said, "Start writing." And it's like, well, writing what? I don't even know what to write. I'm not a writer. And it just said, "Start writing." So I had this impulse to start writing. So I grabbed a yellow legal pad and just started writing down the thoughts that were coming through my head. And I was given these names of the chapters to write in the book, and I was given the information. And I started about 11 o'clock in the morning, and by 11 p.m., I was getting cramps in my fingers because I was just writing as fast as I could. I went to bed, and at 4 in the morning, I got woken back up to finish it. And about 4 or 5 hours later, finished it. So within 24 hours, I'd written this book, and I think 13 chapters, and it just hits on different areas and basically asks this question that is so valuable, important to all of us: Are you ready? And ready for what? So that's really what we're asking. Are you ready? Are you ready to start your ascension? Are you ready to start your journey? Are you ready? It's just a great question.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, spiritual worker now. How did you evolve into this to what you're doing now?
Yeah, I've always been a little bit more of a religious type person, living in growing up in the Midwest, and the religions all seemed interesting to me, but it seemed like there were so many of them that there had to be some common ground. And I ended up becoming a high school math teacher and coach, and I just wanted to learn more. And the more I got into the religions and then the spiritual direction, it guided me more towards understanding the universe and a bigger picture. And then I started getting together with some other friends in this realm, and it just seemed like I wanted to learn how to help people. And it guided me towards doing a little bit of Reiki. And then I started doing some Reiki. I started getting this channeling that came through to do more of energy type work, where I was just receiving some energy. I call it energy. And then I can transfer that energy into another person, and then they can receive the energy that's coming through them as long as they're ready to receive it. And Kerry, that was one of the important things is if someone's not ready to receive it, then it's just not their time. So that's part of the title of the book. Are you ready? Are you ready to receive the information? Are you ready to receive this energy? Are you ready to move up on your ascension path and so forth? So it started coming through in interesting ways, and sometimes it's hard to describe it unless you've experienced it. And that's where I'll try to put it into words, the feelings that we get when this energy comes through. It's a vibration, and it's just a very pleasurable, high vibrating type energy that comes through.
So, how do you know if you're ready or not to receive it?
That's a great question. I talk to people and find out where they're at. And if I get a sense or a feeling, or if I feel directed to work with them, I will do that. And there's a couple times where I've indicated that the feeling was the message that I had received was that they're not quite ready yet. And so sometimes it might take another couple weeks or a month or two to where they're ready to receive it and understanding that they're in a place to receive the information and then to receive the energy and some of this, what the energy can do for the individual. And I don't want to call it healing, but it does involve some chakra clearing. Recently, I've gotten involved in some DNA activation to help activate some of the DNA strands and to offer up some gifts that we all have. And these gifts are available to us. It's just a matter of receiving them or understanding that they're starting to come out and start to enjoy them. So I can't tell someone what gifts they have, but we do all have these other abilities, and some are being activated, and others are being delayed.
All right. So when you've actually done the work, can you tell us some things that the people you've worked with have experienced, changes in their lives, how their journey has been affected?
Yeah, typically what's happening is they're being drawn to me. So it's interesting how I feel like I am a person waiting for someone to approach me, and I meet people, or they get sent to me and I talk to them a little bit. And it seems like they're on a place in their lives where they're wanting to know more about life. What is life really about? Or maybe they're hurting a little bit, yeah, physically and so forth. So one of the things that I'll do is we'll talk a little bit first, and then when I start feeling the energy or vibration that it's time to go into the next phase of actually having them lay down, I'll draw in some energy from above, and it'll come in through my body, and then I'll direct it into the person I'm working with, into their body. And I've explained the procedure that we'll go through. Basically, they're just laying down, and I'll work with their chakras, try to work opening up their chakras, clearing out some energy that they might have, some energies that are creating some disturbances in their body. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's a little bit mental, but there's disturbances in there. And I'll typically ask them if they have a particular area that they need work on, and then I will focus in on that. So after we've cleared out the energy, gotten everything cleared up, I'll start receiving the energy will come through, and it just becomes it's a very powerful energy, and it's hard to describe, but it flows through me into them and back and forth. So it can work towards helping them heal themselves if they're ready to receive it. If they're not, because they've got themselves blocked, then it doesn't really work. And I can usually feel when the blocks open up and the energy is released, it just kind of flows through, and I just get this feeling that's euphoric.
Yeah. So it's basically a transformation that can take place.
Essentially, it is a transformation. It's a way to elevate. If we think about it as vibrating slowly, and all of a sudden that vibrational energy starts raising itself up higher and higher and higher. When you receive that, you feel it, and then it's on you, up to you to continue that. And that's where the book comes into play, and some other materials are out there. You can go in there and start reading and stay on top of it. And a lot of this I do through like a meditative practice. I do a lot of meditation every day, about an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening. So it's a way to bring and calm myself and allow that vibrational energy to come through, and to be quiet and be in the present, not think about past, future, any of that. Just be very calming and relaxing and be in the present moment.
Remarkable. And so, is there any risk to this? Is there any risk to the person that's getting these their channels opened? Can anything bad happen?
I'm not aware of anything other than it's really up to them as to everyone I've worked with so far, because we do talk about it ahead of time, and I do try to share with them that they may open up some of their additional gifts. For example, they may become a little bit more empathic, or they might become more intuitive. They might become being able to use a little bit more telepathy. There's just different types of things that can happen, or they might be able to see auras, or I don't know what each person has in their own way of, I call them gifts. For me, it allowed my senses to be enhanced. It allowed me to become more telepathic. My intuition was increased. So for me personally, I recognized some of these things that were coming through. And then I've been able to stay in contact with people that I've worked with, and they've instructed or they've informed me that they also have gotten a better feeling, whether it be physically, a physical ailment that all of a sudden within a couple of days diminishes, or they just start feeling better. All of a sudden, some of the dense, dark energy that was attached to them has been released, and they feel more alive, and they feel like a big, heavy load has been lifted from them. So again, they just need to be in a position where they feel they're ready for it. I'm just like a instrument allowing some of that energy to come in, and then they're able to receive some of that energy and get that feeling, what it feels like. It's like, oh, that's what this feels like. This is a nice feeling, and maintain that higher vibration.
I see. I see. And does it just last for a little while for people, or can it be lifelong? How does that work?
It can be either way. It can be temporary. It can be lifelong. It's really up to you at that point. If you're ready to continue with it, you can continue with it and then start doing some of your own work, doing some of your own meditations, some of your own research. It can be lifelong, or you can go right back into the same old circumstances that you left. I mean, if you were having problems in a certain relationship and you keep going back to that relationship, then that energy is going to be there. I also do some work on cord removals. Everyone gets attached to different things. Sometimes it's personal relationships. And so rather than a cord cutting, we do a cord removal, and that's a way to help get rid of that attachment. And there's different techniques that I use, and we can do that in another podcast or something. But there's just a whole field and a whole area that we can go into that allows people that are feeling like there's something happening to them, this Schumann resonance, this vibrational energy, the earth is changing. There's a lot of information that's now starting to come out. So people are looking for more information. They're wanting to start experience more than just their 9-to-5 job or whatever it is that they've got going on. Or maybe it's an ailment. Maybe it's they're not feeling so good. So they're finally taking a look at, hey, maybe there's another alternative way to help my body heal itself.
Interesting. Interesting. So the changes can be profound, but it's up to the individual to really keep going down this path, right?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some changes that will happen. I haven't had anybody not feel anything, so they're definitely feeling something. And then it's just a matter of whether they're open enough to continue on this path. And if I can help get them on the path, or maybe back on the path that they were on, because some were on it and then they got off of it, now they're back on their path and their journey, then I feel like I've kind of done my mission. My mission really is just to help other individuals raise the vibration for the collective. There's been some people coming to me with their discs in their back that have been sore and so forth, and we've been able to work on that. And there's a lot of other people doing work out there, like Dr. Joe Dispenza. He'll do a lot of work, and some others that are in this field, quantum physics field, and things like that. So I just feel I'm a very, very small piece of it, and I'm enjoying it very much. I'm able to get to maybe some of the people that others are not able to get to.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, if there's one piece of advice you would give to anybody out there who feels they need something that's not quite right, they need a change of course or direction or some type of clearing of energy, what would it be?
I would say be curious. Be curious about what's happening. There's a lot of information from people that are going to tell you this or that. There's different religious sectors that'll guide you their way, or they'll say that this is not correct or not right. So that just tells me that they're not quite ready. So I would say if you feel you're ready, if you feel you'd like to know more about this, then get curious about it. That's one of the reasons why the book came out. Was it's a very simple read, 45 minutes. You can read it. You can start finding out, hey, this makes sense to me, or maybe some other YouTube channels out there. But I would say just be curious and find out about your own journey, because there's a lot of information now coming out. We're seeing a lot of changes happening in the world, and I do believe that there's many, many people that are ready to increase their level of consciousness. And this is an alternative to find out what life is really all about. And it's more than just work, work, work. We can do a lot of things. We are very powerful.
Yeah, I think that's what I relate to most, the empowering nature of your work and how you don't give anybody what isn't there already, maybe a little extra energy, but you kind of untap the power that's within.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Everyone has all these gifts, and the energy field is there. So I'm just helping guide them to open it up and allow them to go on their pace, on their journey. And it's exciting. I've been meeting some phenomenal people. There's a lot of light workers that are out there that are out here sharing. You're a light worker out there helping share your podcast with people. And you can just tell the ones that are out there that are enjoying life. And they've got some special things going on. So we're able to just take that and increase it, maybe multiply it. And the more people that we can help feel better about it, the higher the consciousness happens in this world.
That's amazing. And that is a gift in and of itself. Jeff, is there a way that people can contact you, talk about the book? Obviously, we've got the link. It's on Amazon. It's called Are You Ready? With 3 question marks. Is there a way people can contact you?
Sure, they can send me an email and just email me at Jeffrey, Jeffrey, Hossler, Hossler, at gmail.com. And they can email me, and I will reach back out to them, and then we'll talk a little bit and then find out where they're at. And if they're ready, I'll be happy to help them and answer any questions that they might have. There's so many different levels of this. There may be some people that are just getting started into it. There may be some people that are experiencing some 4th or 5th dimensional type things that are going on. So I'll go in as deep as they would like to go with what's been happening in my life, in my world. And I'll keep it as light as we need to also for those that are just getting started on their journey.
Yeah, you don't want to overwhelm anyone. All right, the link to the book and Jeff's email address in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. If you got any questions or comments, you can always email me. My email address is kl@kerrylutz.com. Jeff, appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Kerry. Appreciate it.